Junior Motorsports seems closer than ever that they're going to jump up to the Cup Series. Today, we're going to talk about if they should or should not jump up to the Cup Series in the next couple years. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, we're talking about Junior Motorsports and if they should jump up to the Cup Series or not. So, obviously, with Junior Motorsports, for the last year and a half to 2 years, really since April of 2021, when Josh Berry won his first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series race in Martinsville, discussions have been going around if Junior Motorsports should make the jump up or not. And really, for a while, we thought this was going to be off the table, right? Well, as of recently, over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot more talks and conversations that it's 50-50 right now, and that there's a really good chance that we could see Junior Motorsports up in the NASCAR Cup Series. Now, why has this changed over the last 2 weeks? Well, I think one big key reason why Junior Motorsports has basically kind of been more in conversation to jump up the Cup, one of the biggest key things is a new driver they hired as of recently, Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones brings a lot of sponsorship funding, and he's going to be leaving Joe Gibbs Racing's NASCAR Xfinity Series team to make the jump over to Junior Motorsports' 9 team, as Noah Gragson is moving away from Junior Motorsports, but moving up to the Cup Series to drive the 42 for Petty GMS Motorsports. Brandon Jones brings a lot of sponsorship and funding. And we've thought a lot of the big reason why Junior Motorsports wasn't going to make the jump up was because of the charter not being there. That's not true. Kelly Earnhardt basically confirmed that the charter really isn't the biggest factor. Despite charters costing around $20 million, that's how much charters are going to be, they still think that they could easily get a charter, and they could buy up a charter from, let's say, a team like Richard Childress Racing, perhaps, or a team like Spire Motorsports that has a major association with Hendrick Motorsports. Now, another big thing that will have to happen for Junior Motorsports even consider making the jump up the Cup is they're going to have to probably take away Rick Hendrick's name off the organization, which I think is a lot easier than people realize this. And I'll tell you why I think it's going to be a lot easier for them to go ahead and take it off. Rick Hendrick is a part owner of the team, despite basically the majority being owned by Kelly and Dale. Rick is a part owner of the organization. Rick, I think, would easily be able to do that because remember, in the Cup Series, you're only allowed to own 4 cars with the charter agreement. And since Rick Hendrick is a part owner of the team, he would not be allowed to basically own the organization if Junior Motorsports is going to jump up the Cup, which, like I said, I think it's going to be a lot easier for them to go ahead and do that, for him to drop his ownership role off of the organization. Today, I'll also talk about the benefits, and let's talk about the benefits of Junior Motorsports and why I think they should. I absolutely 100% believe that Junior Motorsports needs to 100% make the jump up to the Cup Series, and I will explain why. Dale Jr. is still the most important person currently in NASCAR at the moment, and really been the most important person in NASCAR in the last 20 years. And he is still the most relevant name in NASCAR to this day. He's been commentating. He's been pretty much doing everything, owning a race team, running a media company, and he's also been a NASCAR Hall of Famer as well. And I think Dale Jr. would probably also love to maybe once again back one day if Junior Motorsports does make the jump up the Cup. I think he would absolutely love to have a little bit of that stake as being able to drive maybe 1 off or 2 off races. So I think that absolutely would be a big reason for them to go ahead and make the jump up. Now, when we talk about Junior Motorsports and all that kind of stuff with Junior Motorsports, they also, if they jump up, they are probably going to become the most popular team. More popular than Hendrick Motorsports, more popular probably than Joe Gibbs Racing. They're going to be popular than most other organizations. And why is that? Well, like I said, it's Dale Jr. Dale Jr. still has a lot of relevance, and I think Dale Jr. brings his team up to the Cup Series. It will grow NASCAR. A lot of people are going to see Junior Motorsports back, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to be like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and basically go right away and come back to NASCAR and watch once again. Even though a lot of people left, I think more people will end up coming back to watch Dale Jr. race. And speaking of which, when could Junior Motorsports make up the jump? Well, obviously, I think 2023 or 2024 is going to be the years. Now, going into 2023, I think really the only opportunities we could see Junior Motorsports up the Cup is probably for the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. I think if NASCAR wanted to, they would let a driver like Dale Jr. enter the race at North Wilkesboro, considering they're going to be going back to North Wilkesboro for the first time since 1996. I think they would absolutely 100% be willing to allow Dale Jr. and Junior Motorsports to go ahead and enter that race. I think if there's going to be an opportunity in 2023 for it to happen, I think that's when it's going to happen, and maybe a couple other races as well. But I think more than likely 2024 is going to be the year that they do go ahead and attempt to make the jump up. Especially like I just mentioned with Brandon Jones getting signed to the organization and signed to the team. I think that that is going to be a major key in them coming in, considering Menards is going to be joining the team this year as next year as a sponsor. I really think that is going to play a major role. So now let's discuss about all the drivers who could potentially be possible options who are in the Junior Motorsports camp or in the Chevy camp, or drivers that could be outside of the box options. Let's first begin with Brandon Jones. I think Brandon Jones is going to actually be the most likely of anybody. I know this sounds nuts and crazy considering he has not driven for Junior Motorsports yet, but he will be joining, like I said, next year to drive the number 9 car. And like I said, he brings sponsorship funding that is going to be able and is going to be available for the team to make the jump up. So I think Brandon Jones absolutely will be the first driver that is going to be considered. Do I think Brandon Jones has the greatest stats in Xfinity? No, but he's got some pretty good stats. He's got 5 NASCAR Xfinity Series victories, and I think he could be a driver like Eric Almirola or be like a Justin Allgaier one day. I really think that he could be one of those drivers that could be a very solid driver in the NASCAR Cup Series and get some wins in the Cup Series one day and be a very, very solid driver. Then you look at other drivers in Junior Motorsports. The next one I've got to talk about is Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier has a lot of Cup Series experience. He's made, I think, over 50 or 60 career NASCAR Cup Series starts. He hasn't won a race, but he drove for H. Scott Motorsports and did actually really solid. I think the best who ever drove for the H. Scott Motorsports organization, and has had a couple of select starts with Spire Motorsports over the last couple of years. They've been hit or miss for sure, but Justin Allgaier's had some starts, and I think Justin Allgaier, with a little bit of experience with that next-gen car, I really think that he would be a very, very solid candidate to get behind the wheel. I think Allgaier is a really, really good and a really talented driver, and I think he'd do a fantastic job behind the wheel of that car. Then you got to think about Sam Mayer. Now, Sam Mayer, of the current drivers at Junior Motorsports, I think he's the least likely. Sam Mayer is the least experienced driver that's would be coming into this. Sam Mayer is a very young driver. He will only be 20 years old in 2003. Of course, will be returning to Junior Motorsports to drive the 1 car next year. I think Sam would struggle a little bit because, again, I think that lack of experience. I think Sam's a really good driver, don't get me wrong. But I think with the lack of experience that Sam Mayer truly and really has, I do think he's going to kind of struggle just a little bit if he does make the jump. And then finally, going into next year, Josh Berry. Josh Berry, I think, would actually do really, really well. I think if there's anybody in the Xfinity Series field that I think could really jump up the Cup right now, especially with a team like Junior Motorsports, and get the best out of equipment, I think Josh Berry is going to be your guy. Josh Berry is, I think, someone, if you put him in any organization, he would be a very solid candidate to get some really solid and really awesome finishes for the team. So I think he would be awesome to have an opportunity. But I think most likely the Junior Motorsports drivers, it would be Brandon Jones. Now let's talk about drivers outside of the Junior Motorsports pipeline who could be potential candidates. Let's first talk about Jimmie Johnson. This one's going to shock you a little bit because I think Jimmie has said that he wants to run a couple select NASCAR Cup Series races. What if Jimmie Johnson, if he can't run Project 91 more than 1 race, and if they decide, Junior Motorsports decides to go ahead and jump up and run a Norfolk's race, what if Junior decides to put Jimmie Johnson by the wheel of the car? Jimmie Johnson is still, I think, a driver who actually could do really, really solid. He won't be absolutely killer in the car, but Jimmie Johnson's Jimmie Johnson. If you have Jimmie Johnson driving Dale Jr.'s car, he will be phenomenal to have behind the wheel of the car with all that experience racing. So yes, he would absolutely be a great candidate and a great choice to get an opportunity. So I think he should absolutely be considered. The last one that I'm really going to mention here is someone from the Formula One world, and that is Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo, of course, is not going to be back in McLaren next year. He's trying to figure out where he's going to be driving in Formula One, and he has had select conversations with Trackhouse Racing to drive the Project 91 car, but of course, he's still trying to figure out what it's going to be when it comes to Formula One, where he's going to be driving, which I don't think he's going to be in Formula One next year, to be honest. I really think there's a lack of rides opening up. Alfa Romeo's filled up their rides. Maybe he goes to Renault, but again, I don't think that's even a conversation. That's probably not going to happen. So I think he's going to be out of Formula One. But I would think Ricciardo, he'll first go over and race with Trackhouse, but of course, Daniel Ricciardo is a fan of the Earnhardt brand. That's why, because he has a 3 on his car, because he's a big fan of the Earnhardt brand. And he horse drove the legendary 3 car from 1986. He ended up driving that car at COTA last year and got some laps around COTA in that car. So I think he would be absolutely a great candidate. Plus, he would be able to bring a lot of international presence from different countries to watch NASCAR as well, especially from Australia, and people would definitely be able to watch. Junior Motorsports jumping up the cup is something that I think could happen in the near not so distant future. I really think, do I think it's going to happen? Yes. But do I think they should? Absolutely, they should go ahead and make the jump up the cup. I think it will be awesome for the sport if they do decide to make the jump up the cup. I think it'll be, again, I think it's going to be great for the sport if they jump up to the Cup Series. Now, of course, it's going to cost the team a lot of money with these next-gen cars and everything, how much they're going to cost. They're going to have to purchase next-gen cars. But Dale Jr. is worth $300 million. And they're saying that charters are not the thing that's holding them up. It's just waiting for them to be available. I think right now, one of the big things when it comes to the charter system, I do believe that we need to start handing out more charters because, again, 36 charters is not enough, especially with the demand right now for charters currently at the moment from a lot of teams outside of Junior Motorsports, at teams like Nice Motorsports, even Trackhouse is in some conversation to get more. I think if you have more charters, you can get more teams like Junior Motorsports getting the opportunity. But like I said, I think Junior Motorsports absolutely 100% needs to go ahead and make the jump up the cup. I think it'll be great for the sport overall. And like I said, I really do hope the Junior Motorsports decides that, you know what, let's go ahead and make the jump up the cup because I think it will be great for the sport. If I had a lot, and I think you'll see more people come back to watch the sport than they used in the past. I think it needs to happen, and I'm hoping and really, really praying that there's a really good chance that we could see Junior Motorsports potentially jump up to the Cup Series in 2023 or 2024 for that matter. But I hope they do get an opportunity to make the jump up the Cup. They say they're closer than ever. Hopefully they decide to jump up the Cup in the next couple of years. So that is going to be today's special video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, notifications on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links in the description below that. Comment below your thoughts on today's video. Do you think Junior Motorsports should make the jump up to the Cup Series or not? Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow on my channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news video. We've got some things we're going to talk about here that's been coming out over the last couple days. Then on Saturday on the channel, I might have something out on the channel, but I'm not entirely sure yet. It kind of is going to depend on how late these races get done on Saturday. That'll be a major key with the weather. And then Sunday, of course, pending weather, we will have the Cup review from Talladega that we're going to cover. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.